that a 55-unit apartment complex in that area adds value to this community slash project,
Do we think it adds value
that
to the
creates
project?
value, like long-term. I'm just asking because, I mean, it's an outside developer, and I'm just wondering. I just want what's best for Fort Dodge in the long term, and I just want to make sure that you guys believe that that's what's best.
Well, personally, I won't speak for anybody else. I personally believe that multiple types of housing are needed in our community, whether it be apartments, and I'm talking quality rental apartments, duplexes, condominiums, townhomes, single-family homes. That whole first, that entire need is there, whether it's in this area or in other areas where other people have proposed housing. We got middle schools, people are proposing turning into apartments. There's a gentleman that's supposed to be building apartments on 8th Street, just off of the downtown, those kind of apartments as well. So there's a multitude of needs in all facets of housing, whether it's an apartment all the way to a single family home.
Okay, and then, see here, I got some other notes. It said that these were gonna be high-end apartments, correct? With the rent of $1,000 to $1,200 a month is what I believe I read, correct?
Well, a typical apartment, this is me doing my research, is anywhere from $90,000 to $110,000 per door. So if there's 55 doors, you can take that, that's how much it costs to build it. So to cash flow that, the rents would need to be much higher. So it's not gonna be a $500 a month rent. It's gonna be north of $900 per.
That's fine, that's good, but, the reason I'm asking is because I guess it's hard for me to believe that it adds value when you can go rent a duplex for the same exact price with a 2-car garage and everything.
Some people don't. It's just all a matter of the marketplace and what the market wants. I mean, there's some people that may completely agree with your perspective. Like if it was me, for $1,100, I could get a duplex that has a garage. I'd go for that. But there's some people that don't need that, nor do they want it.
I just don't want, a half-empty apartment building.
Sure.
sitting there,
Yeah.
with a chance of getting.
That's up to the developer to market and build the product that he believes the marketplace is asking for. And if you talk to other folks in the community that own apartment buildings that are the nicer apartment buildings, they'll tell you that they have a waiting list, they have demand all the time asking to rent those units. Or the people that own condos or townhomes around town that rent those will tell you the same thing.
Okay.
At least they've told me.
Okay. All right.
Anybody else want to answer anything there? Or?
I think you ask a valid question in regards to what is it, and to the best of my knowledge, with what I've been informed of, is I know that it's a 55-unit complex. I don't know if that's one building or more than one. I've been told that it's $1,000 to $1,200 per month. I don't know if that's for a 1-bedroom or a 3. So I think you ask valid questions that I don't know the answer to and have tried to ask.
I talked to Dawn Larson with the Business Affairs, and she told me that as she talked to the companies around town, the corporations and companies, they said they were desperately looking for high-end apartments, and we've lost quite a few people going down to Ames and other places because they can't find nice quality apartments here. And that's one of the things that we really do need. And as I looked into it, I know I've heard people talk about, well, they're going to have low-end housing there. Well, that's not going to happen. I would never go for that. But what I did look into, I went down to Fort Dodge Housing, talked to them quite a bit for about an hour. And if you have Section 8 housing, if you rent a 2-bedroom apartment, they want to give you $650. Now that $650, it doesn't matter how many kids you have. If it's a 2-bedroom, it's only $650. And out of that $650, you have to pay your gas and lights out of that. So let's say that's $125, for example. That's $525. There's no way they can build that apartment building and rent that out to a Section 8 for HUD and make a profit. They'll lose money like you can't believe. So, but they know right now in Fort Dodge, they have a big, people are really looking for high-end apartments. I'll put it that way, and there's a need there, and that's what we're doing this for. And to me, I know personally, the way I wanted it, I would like to see all single-family homes there myself, personally. But I'm not going to be like some of these other people. I have to have it my way, and that's it. Sometimes you have to work around what you can get and what you can't get. I felt personally that if you put apartments next to Northwoods Living, which is a facility, is a care facility, and that's close to the Coach Light Apartments, I thought,
Condos, aren't they? People
yeah, some of them are rental actually, but yeah. But that, that's close to there, so that's away from existing homes. And also when they have the single family attached, that's right behind Good Shepherd. And I thought that was a good way, to do that. So it's away from existing homes now. I know that, even with that cash flow with the single family attached homes, I talked to them about that one also. And they have to rent those out between $1,000 and $1,200 just to make it cash flow out. So I cannot believe there could be anybody coming in with Section 8 housing coming in there. I know that's what a lot of people are afraid of, but I can't see that happening. If I thought for 1 minute that was going to happen, I would say no right now. But everything I've looked into, everything I've done my research on, I just can't believe that's going to happen. In fact, apartments up there across from the country club, they've been renting those out ever since they built those for about $1,200, I believe it is, a month, 1,000.
The duplexes?
Yeah, up there, so, and they've never had any empty apartments there or duplexes there, so, yeah, there is a need. So I just don't believe there's going to be any low rent housing. I've heard some rumors going around town, I don't know where they're coming from, they're saying, oh yeah, the Fort Dodge Housing is going to build low rent housing in there, low rent apartments, and that's not going to happen. So you don't have to worry about that, okay?
I think my only additional comment, and kind of piggybacking on Kim, is, and I mentioned it at one of the however many meetings we've had about this property, is I agree with Kim. If it was all single-family detached homes, perfect, sign me up. But the proposal we have from, and I think we need to give credit to the developers for stepping up. When this property was first acquired, we had one developer that basically popped up, and there was some slow interest. So give credit to the developers for wanting to put their money on the line and invest in Fort Dodge. But if it means a 55-unit apartment complex that is well-built, market rent, what I think gets hidden with all the talk of the apartment and duplexes is the sheer number of single-family detached homes that the developer's putting in this property.
Yeah, but it's 122.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, it gets kind of forgotten. Again, I thank the developer for stepping up. We're meeting a lot of different needs here. And from the proposals that I've seen, this is by far the best proposal that I've seen come forward.
On that note, the 122 single detached homes, right? I believe that's the number I got out of the Messenger October 1st article. But in total, you have 57 duplex units, 60 units, row homes. Can you explain what a row home is?
Attached homes with 0 lot lines, 6 in a row.
Perfect, sounds great. And then a 55-unit apartment complex, that equals 229 or not detached units, correct? So I guess I was just looking at, I don't know if you guys can pull it up, but the city's future, the Re-envision 2030 future land use plan. And I was just reading it. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, please, I don't want to be in the wrong here, but the city's future land use plan identifies the proposed area as single-family detached, which is what it's zoned for now, right? Correct?
It's all ag land currently, but yeah, that's the generic zoning most land
Okay.
has, that's
Okay.
ag.
It says to ensure consistency between the plan's goals / objectives and the future land use plan, each proposed land use category is described. Single-family detached includes detached single-unit residential structures. This land use should remain the predominant residential land use in Fort Dodge. Then there's this little, however, the density of single-family detached neighborhoods and parcels can vary. I'm just kind of wondering, so if my math is correct on this, that means 122 out of 355 units are not single-family. So can you explain, I mean, does that tie in with this vision? That's 35% if my math is correct.
I can address that partially.
Okay.
The Re-envision 2030 plan has a variety of goals to discuss land use and future growth in the community. And one of the primary functions is to create new neighborhoods that reflect the identity of Fort Dodge and provide a variety of housing options that appeal to different demographics, socioeconomics, and consumer preferences. So I guess in answer to your question is that the land use, according to me, is a fluid situation, depending on the demands and the developer's ability to develop the property. So I think we're addressing and utilizing the comp plan that we put forward by doing that. And the land use plan, again, is just a guideline that it's not written in stone.
Okay. Other questions? Or-
Let's see here. So if this, because you guys are here to address the final plat of the zoning, correct? As far as the rezoning and everything,
Yeah, that's
so
not
what the
this
commission drew up last
particular-
Tuesday?
It's not this particular item, but yes,
was
I
about to
believe
come
that's
back up
on
and
a
ask
later.
about that one then?
Sure.
Or can I ask you right now?
You can ask right now.
Okay. So if that gets finalized, I believe it's lot 72 is the one that's in question about the apartments. So when that gets approved, or if it does, say, you guys have to come back and do a bunch more stuff as far as where street access is gonna be to these apartments and all that. Are
Sure.
we gonna have to build another street?
Yep, they would have to build a private road going into their development. That could end up coming off 15th, that could come from the north off 24th. That's where site plan would come into play.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you very
Sure.
much.
We're still in the public hearing portion. Is there anybody else that would like to address the council during this hearing item? Hearing none, we'll close this hearing. Move to item 4A.
First consideration of ordinance number 2274, an ordinance providing for a change in zoning from single-family to multifamily and update to the city's future land use from single-family detached to multifamily.
Mr. Mayor, I would make a motion to approve the first consideration of ordinance number 2274.
It's been moved and seconded. I'll ask again, is there any comments from the public? Anything additional from the table?
I will not be supporting this item this evening. In regards to, I agree with Eric in regards to what the comp plan and future land use map says. And also, I'm not comfortable changing the zoning with something when the only information I can get is that it's a 55-unit complex and that the rents will be $1,000 to $1,200 per month. I just need more information than that.
Okay. Anyone else? We'll roll call vote. Mr. Flattery?
Aye.
Mr. Halter?
Nay.
Mr. Conrad?
Aye.
Mr. Fritz?
Aye.
Mr. Allstott?
Aye.
Mr. Minky? Mr. Hill? So that passed with Mr. Halter voting nay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
it's my understanding that the developer for this parcel is wanting to get going, if at all possible, before winter makes it improbable this year. We've had numerous meetings in the past year and a half about the Tice Farm Woods Bend project. For that reason, I would make a motion to waive the second and third readings.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to waive the second and third readings. Roll call vote. Mr. Flattery?
Aye.
Mr. Halter?
Nay.
Mr. Conrad?
Aye.
Mr. Fritz?
Aye.
Mr. Allstott?
Aye.
Mr. Minky? Mr. Hill? Nay. That's 5-2. Does that pass or not?
Why wouldn't it?
Well, I know you have to have to waive a reading, you can't have just a simple majority, right? You have to have a supermajority. 5-2 is considered a supermajority. I'm pretty sure it is.
What is it, 2/3 plus 1?
I think it's 3/4, isn't it?
Is it 3/4? Or is it 5? Oh. Somebody give me a definitive answer.
I thought that was only if the neighbors protested, had objections, and there has been no objections by the neighboring property owners.
That are in the 200 foot.
That's just to change it.
The second and third reading waiving isn't the same as the supermajority required for the zoning. I think it's just I don't know. We don't have this happen very often.
The vote's down, I'll get you an answer before the meeting's over.
Okay. All right. So we will call that vote here momentarily. We'll move to, so item 4A is waiting for a response from our city attorney. We'll move to item 5, public hearing.
Public hearing to establish a land use of single-family attached in a zoning of single-family residential zero lot line, a parcel of land in the northwest quarter of the northwest quarter of section 17, township 89 north, range 28, west of the 5th principal meridian, city of Fort Dodge, Webster County, Iowa. Described area contains 3.76 acres, more or less.
We'll declare the public hearing open and ask first for written comment.
There were the same written comments as the last time, written comment in support from Merrill Leffler, the Webster County Board of Supervisors, and written objections to the rezoning of the property from Brian McLean and Steve Schillerstrom, and the comments are on file in the city clerk's office.
Okay, thank you. Is there any comments from the public on this hearing item? Hearing no comments on this hearing item, we'll close the hearing. We'll move to item 5A.
First consideration of ordinance number 2275, an ordinance providing for a change in zoning from single-family to single-family zero lot line, an update to the city's future land use plan from single-family detached to single-family attached.
Mr. Mayor, I would move first consideration of ordinance number 2275.
Been moved and seconded. I'll ask again for comments from the public. Anything from the table on this item? I've covered some of it in the last hearing.
Although I have gotten closer to wanting to support this specific item, I'm not 100% there yet. So I will be voting against it.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, we'll roll call vote. Mr. Flattery.
Aye.
Mr. Halter.
Nay.
Mr. Conrad.
Aye.
Mr. Fritz.
Aye.
Mr. Allstott.
Aye.
Mr. Minke. Mr. Hill. So that passed with Mr. Halter voting nay.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to look up the supermajority thing.
Well, that's what our city attorney's
I know. I would, in accordance with the same reasoning I gave for item 4A, I would also ask to waive the second and third readings of this one as well. I'd make a motion, I'm sorry.
There's a motion and a second to waive the second and third considerations for this ordinance 2275. Roll call vote, Mr. Flattery.
Aye.
Mr. Halter.
Nay.
Mr. Conrad.
Aye.
Mr. Fritz.
Aye.
Mr. Allstott.
Aye.
Mr. Minke. Mr. Hill. Shows that it passed 5-2,
Which means it failed.
which means it they do
Requires
require
three-fourths.
three-fourths. So that failed. Item 6, public hearing.
Public hearing to consider a petition to establish a self-supported municipal improvement district pursuant to chapter 386 of the Code of Iowa, to be known as the Fort Dodge Corridor Self-Supported Municipal Improvement District in the city of Fort Dodge, Iowa.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move agenda item 6.
This is a public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. We'll declare the public hearing open and ask first for written comment.
There were no written comments.
Is there any comment from the public on this hearing item? Hearing no comment, we'll close the hearing and move to item 6A.
Resolution declaring intent to take additional action for the establishment of the Fort Dodge Corridor Self-Supported Municipal Improvement District.
I jumped ahead, didn't I?
You did? That's all right.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move 6A as read, agenda item 6A.
There's a motion and a second. Again, I'll ask for comments from the public. Anything from the table?
Yeah, what we're talking about here is Fifth Avenue South. They want to have a self-improvement district. And they have to have a 50% of the businesses along that corridor from 32nd Street down to 15th Street have to agree on this. And what they want to do is they want to charge $1 per thousand. They think they could get close to about $34,000 a year, and that would help address the problems that they have along Fifth Avenue South. They want to address it up more and make it look nicer. So that's what they're trying to do. But they have to have 50% of the people want this. And right now they have, I think, about 37% right now. So they're still working on it.
It's a good program. It's been very helpful on our downtown with our downtown cement group. So this is again another organized effort by property owners, business owners to enhance their area and their trade area. So cool project. All right. Anything else from the table? We'll just do all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. So that one passed unanimous. Item 7, return to table. Item 7A, please.
Certified nuisance assessment 17-330G for 2319 Fifth Avenue South and forward to Webster County Treasurer for collection with property taxes.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move agenda item 7A as read.
Second. Been moved and seconded. Any comments from the public? Is there anyone here from that property? Anything from the table? All right.
Last time he asked for this to be removed so he could come to the council and address us on this, but he hasn't shown up.
Oh, okay. I wasn't here at the last meeting. I apologize. I'm aware of that.
Where were you at?
I was on the fireball run.
Because if I recall, the reason for tabling it was so that he would have the opportunity to return back to town so that he could come in and
Right.
tell us his side of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
So is there any additional comments from anyone at the table? All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So that carries unanimous. Item 8 is committee and department reports, correspondence, and proclamations. Don't have any proclamations, but I have one appointment I would like to ask the council to look at tonight. The Airport Commission. Jennifer Lighting has agreed to serve another term on this commission. Jennifer's term will expire 11/29/2023.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to reappoint Jennifer Lighting to the Airport Commission.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from the table? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So that passed unanimous. Item 9 is comments and questions from the public. Is there any comments or questions not on the agenda? Any comments or questions on the consent agenda? Hearing none, we'll move to item 10, the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda, removing item P for separate vote.
Been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda, removing item P. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So that passed unanimous. Item P, please.
Resolution approving the plating and dedication of the final plat for Williams Bend subdivision to Fort Dodge, Webster County, Iowa.
Mr. Mayor, so move.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the table?
I'd ask to have this pulled for an individual vote, as I am one that is in the belief that we should allow the zoning process to go through all 3 of its readings before approving this item. So I would be more in support of it if we had finished through all of our readings. As you saw this evening, we've only made it through reading 1, and we still have readings 2 and 3 to get through. And so for that reason, I will not be supporting item P.
Okay. Other comments from the table?
I had a question, Article 5, Section 1, Streets and Alleys. The requirement for the minimum pavement width for new public residential streets is 28 foot with no parking allowed. And the proposed waiver that we're looking at is that the minimum street requirement be reduced to 26 feet for 24th Avenue North and also allow parking on one side. I see the fire department requires a 20-foot width, is that correct, Chief? Okay, so if you have a motorhome parked on 24th Avenue North, how are you gonna be able to respond to a fire?
The minimum international fire code is 20 feet. We looked at the width of a car being it was 6 foot, so that gives 20 foot. If it was the maximum, it can be a vehicle on the streets is 8 foot wide, so that would put you down to 18 feet. I felt comfortable that we could still get a fire engine through there. We have to meet the same requirement. The widest fire engine or ladder truck is 8 foot wide, so that would give us plenty of room to get down the street and even operate in the area there if it was 18 feet.
Well, my only concern is, I know this is a long, narrow street, and speeding's gonna be a concern on that, and the parking cars on the street probably would slow that down, but I really, these smaller streets with, parking allowed on one side, I think it's very inconvenient for getting from point A to point B. So I guess my suggestion would be that if the street's gonna be narrowed to 26 foot, not to allow parking on the street.
That's what I looked at, was just the width and the width of our fire apparatus in the international fire code, so.
David, do you want to address some of those comments? Because I know you were mentioning some stuff about that when I was speaking with you earlier.
Well, I mean, the street is our project. I mean, we're building 24th Avenue North, and we bid it at what it is. I would say that, for reasons you mentioned, I wouldn't prohibit parking on the street, because you don't want people to feel comfortable getting from point A to point B on that street, because what they're gonna do is start using that to get from Williams to 15th or vice versa. We want people that live in that neighborhood to use that street primarily, not as it's not a collector, it's not an arterial. We want it for just the local traffic. So I would say, the slower people have to drive because there's parking and because they gotta be careful navigating, the better off we're gonna be. It's gonna be calmer traffic. So, I mean, but that's one thing that, this isn't a developer-driven thing because the city's building the street. It's a city thing. We wanted it narrower because of the longer distance of it and without curves. And just for the economics of it too. The wider street, more pavement we have to pay for, and then more pavement we have to clear of snow and maintain in the future. I think that the time when cities wanted nice, big, wide streets is over with, because they realize it's just more cost in the long run. And it encourages people to drive faster, which that's not a benefit in a residential neighborhood. Did you want me to address those other ones, Matt?
Sure.
So, the other waivers is we have the one on the streets, which we just mentioned, okay. The block length, that, again, that 24th Avenue North is that more than 1,000 feet. It is just a straight shot. It's just the nature of the way the subdivision is laid out. In between Williams and 15th Street. So there is 2 lots, that other, on that Article 4, there are 2 lots just because of the uniqueness of the existing streets where you're gonna have a double frontage. One is the lot that's just north of the station, kind of like the houses that are in there now, they've got a double frontage. I mean, we don't encourage double frontages, but we have it there, and we're gonna have it there because you're gonna have a public street on either side, 15th Street and then the 15th Place or whatever it is called. And then the other one is there's a lot, and actually I think there's a typo error in this because the lot numbers changed. It's actually lot 27 in the final plat that has 47, excuse me, that fronts Williams, but also by virtue of where the backyard is and the street, which would be 21st Avenue North. It's backyard. It's going to front public right of way on the 21st Avenue North on that corner. Again, it's the odd nature of the property being developed in conjunction with the existing property, so we think it's fine. The sidewalk thing we're doing is not requiring the sidewalks be installed before the houses. We're requiring the ramps at the corners, but then the sidewalks will be installed when the lot is developed. And that makes sense for a lot of reasons, and I think the key thing is construction will beat up a sidewalk when you start driving equipment over there to dig foundations or do whatnot. It doesn't really, or even the trucks carrying the drywall, you really don't want them on them thin sidewalks, so it's almost better just to put the sidewalks in when you're done. I think I hit all, yeah, oh, the ones North 12th Street, we're not gonna require that to be connected. We didn't think that was necessary to have the lot, the breakup there of the longer lot, so it's just gonna dead end in the existing Kennedy Brown.
Yeah. Any questions for David on any of those items?
Yes.
Mr. Curson?
Steve Kirsten on behalf of the Fort Dodge Betterment Foundation. As part of this development, I've prepared covenants, conditions, restrictions, and reservations to address the concern about the width of the vehicle on the streets. One of the covenants and restrictions states that no truck with a gross weight vehicle greater than 10,000 pounds and no camper, motorhome, watercraft trailer, or mechanical equipment may be parked and maintained on any lot or any public street adjacent to any lot other than on a temporary basis. So we tried to address the concern of the size of vehicles that would be used.
Is that the Windsong development, or is that the single-family houses on 24th that you're working on?
Lots 1 through 19 and lots 21 through 49.
Could you show us those, David?
Yeah.
That was 24th.
Yeah, it's 24th and then along Williams, directly adjacent to Williams.
Will there be covenants written as it relates to the multifamily as well?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So those same kinds of conditions will be set in place for those parcels as well?
Correct.
That's good to know. Thank you.
So what I heard from the chief is that he feels comfortable. How we have it laid out right now, it will work, correct? That's what I heard you say?
Yes, with the International Fire Code requires 20 feet. And the average car width is 6 foot right in the International Fire Code. And so 26 minus 6 would give us the 20 feet. So,
Okay,
I was very comfortable with that.
All right. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
I just have a procedural question, in response to, Councilman Halter's comments. If we were to approve this tonight and a rezoning were to fail, what would that do to this item here?
There'd be a lot, 72 would exist as a lot, and then the developer would have to reconsider what he would do. You either have to, like, produce a site plan, which, you know, I don't want to put words in Councilman Halter's mouth, but produce a site plan that was acceptable.
Don't worry, I won't let you.
I know, but I don't want to be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, and then maybe that would be acceptable, or would have to look at a different type of zoning that would be acceptable to enough of the council to have it pass.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just think that's a major piece that's missing for lot 72. Is we don't have a site plan. I don't, you know, I look at this map and I can see at least little boxes to know that each box represents a lot and that on each lot will be a building. And I'm aware that along 24th Avenue North, that those buildings on both sides of the streets are single-family detached homes. I can read that information and find it. I can do the same for those that are along Williams Drive, directly adjacent to it. You know, agree or disagree, I can gather the information to find out what's going to be on 23rd Place North, which is lots 50 through 71, and I can see what they're going to look like. I can know that they're going to be attached 0-lot duplexes, attached single-family homes. But when I look at lot 72, there's no other additional information to go with that, including how it's going to be accessed by traffic.
I can understand that particular issue, but if you look back to like the Decker development out on Crosstown Industrial Park, those just have lot numbers. There's no guarantee of what's going in that place. It's zoned a specific way because that's what the developer believed the highest and best use of that zoning would create. And it's our job then to work with our staff, rezone it, then they market it, try to sell it to the best and highest user, then they work through the process of site development.
So is it typical in a final plat approval that it would show streets that would access a lot?
Well, I mean, if you, for instance, when we approved that particular final plat out there in the Decker development, Mid-America is going to have some private roads going back into their development that are only accessible by their employees, and then they're gonna have public access, spots on their land. That wasn't all pre-designed or predetermined because they had to lay out their site. That's an expense and something that usually occurred by the person purchasing it when they're ready to make that development happen. At this point, they're saying, we know we want to build something here, we just don't know exactly what it would be. There's adjacent parcels that could be acquired, there's different configurations of how, even you said, you know, it could be, is it one building, is it two? They could do different things, they could put some more row housing, buffering, the single family that's on the north end of lot 72, or maybe they determine that the market's saying something different and they say, let's build more single family, or maybe build more attached houses. At this point, the path they've directed staff is that they want to put a multifamily unit there. They just haven't determined exactly what it is, which is pretty common. If you go to other marketplaces, they'll have a layout like this and there'll be one large lot that they haven't found the builder or buyer or the developer to build that multiplex. And they'll work through that process, but it's typically predominantly pre-zone multifamily, and then they work through that process of development.
David, you had mentioned that you want to prohibit or reduce the amount of traffic on 24th Avenue North so it doesn't become a connector. But it looks to me like it could very well be a connector because of the convenience store if you're coming off Williams Drive. Is there anything else you can do to slow traffic besides parking? The width of the street obviously helps, but is there anything you can do to, because if I'm living up in Williams Drive or up in Kennedy Brown, I could see that being a connector to that convenience store. Is there anything else you can do to slow traffic or inhibit the use of that street as being a connector?
Probably not under the current configuration. Yeah, the speed car. Like my son commented on his way home last week. He goes, "That speed car's on 28th. It's never been there before." I said, "Well, I hope I don't get a letter in the mail now." But I think, yeah, and as you experienced on 20, where you live on 29th Street, if it's wide open, people can go fast. Start going fast. So I've told you over the years we should keep parking on 29th Street because of that. And I think in this case it is, and it's kind of like, you know, North 15th Place now. And I know the only reason I mention that is where I live, and when I need to go to the station, you know, I can use North 15th Street back and forth too, or North 15th Place. Sorry. So it kind of serves that role now, and I think, you know, by virtue of the way it's laid out, it's not real wide, and there are cars parked on that side. It really keeps the speeds kind of slow. It'll be a little bit, yeah. I mean, people are going to use it for access. There's no question, especially to the station. But I think what we're doing now will help, by being a smaller road, help keep the speed slower. And I'm not recommending like speed bumps or anything like that. It's still a public street.
Okay, we're still on item P from the consent agenda. Is there anything else from anybody?
Well, Mayor, I probably should mention, just in case you don't know, that again, these variances are pretty much been staff related and supported variances, but it does require a 3/4 vote to pass the final plat with these variances on it.
Okay, so that is 6 of 7.
Yes.
Okay, well, roll call vote. Mr. Halt, or Mr. Flattery?
Aye.
Mr. Halter?
Nay.
Mr. Conrad?
Aye.
Mr. Fritz?
Aye.
Mr. Allstott?
Aye.
Mr. Minke? Mr. Show that pass 6 votes yay and 1 vote nay, so that is 3/4 and will pass. All right, that's the end of the consent agenda. We'll move to item 11, final payments. Item 11A.
Approval of reimbursement request number 1 in the amount of $70,410.70 for the Triton Plaza Sewer Extension.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve reimbursement request number 1 for the Triton Plaza Sewer Extension.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any comments from the public? Anything from the table? All those in favor of 11A, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So that passed unanimous. Item 11B.
Pay estimate number 11, subfinal, in the amount of $65,098.59 from Crow River Construction for CSI Hydraulic Upgrades G02 Basin Project.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve pay estimate number 11, subfinal to Crow River Construction.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any comments from the public? Anything from the table? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So that passed unanimous. Item 11C.
Pay estimate number 9, subfinal, in the amount of $24,752.90 from Crow River Construction for hydraulic upgrades R05 and R17 Basin Project.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve pay estimate number 9, subfinal to Crow River Construction.
Second. Been moved and seconded. Comments from the public? Anything from the table? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So that passed unanimous. Item 11B.
Pay estimate number 2, final, in the amount of $2,640 from Master Blasters for sandblasting and painting of 14 downtown streetlight project.
Mr. Mayor, I'd so move.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Comments from the public? Anything from the table? This is a really cool thing that we've been doing the last couple of years, and it really dresses up some of those light poles that get damaged over the years and chipping and peeling paint. So a lot less expensive way to make a repair than replacing a full light. So thank you to those that are involved in this project. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So that passed unanimous. Item 11E.
Change order number 3 in the amount of $77,907.83, and pay estimate number 5, subfinal, in the amount of $85,563.63 from Fort Dodge Asphalt for the 2017 street repair project.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve change order number 3, pay estimate number 5, subfinal, Fort Dodge Asphalt.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the public? Anything from the table? All those in favor of 11E, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So that passed unanimous. Item 12 is comments and questions from the public. Before we open to that, I'd like to request city staff to prepare an agenda for next Monday, October 16th, for a special council meeting for the second reading of the items 4A and 5A.
We can't do that.
You're not gonna get publication in time.
Huh?
I don't think you can get publication in time.
It would need to be.
For
in-
next Monday?
It would need
For
to
a
be in
week from
today's
today?
paper.
It's not a public hearing, it's just an agenda item. Second reading of an ordinance. The public hearing requires a week. Correct?
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But you gotta get
Am
the
I right?
publication of the special meeting out.
Right.
Okay.
Yep, within the normal parameters. So, if you would schedule that for October 16th, does anyone have objection to that? Okay.
May I ask why we feel that's necessary?
I don't, we can have a meeting any Monday we technically want to. So we can have one next Monday and then the following Monday after that even. I know that Mr. Conrad pointed to the sense of urgency that they would like to put shovels in the ground on, especially on those single-family homes on Williams Drive. I don't think we're talking about shovels in the ground for a 55-plex, but we are for the duplexes for Winstone Circle and the single-family on Williams Drive. And every week they lose is one less week of getting those foundations in and hopefully stick framing up the properties they're trying to build. And this, I mean, we did have a previous public hearing that wasn't legitimate because of error in a publication. So I mean, I know it doesn't legally count as the second reading, but this was all moved on once previously. We're now having a second time of the first time. Next Monday would be the second second time, and then the following Monday would be the third. I think there's ample opportunity.
Yeah,
for
no, you
input.
answered my question.
Okay, any other comments and questions from the public? Mr. Higgins?
Richard Higgins, 3343 10th Avenue North. I know I haven't been up here lately, but I have a question. I had a businessman ask me the question of, are you required to have dumpsters in their property?
Is a business required to have a dumpster?
Yes.
Well, they have to have means to dispose of waste.
Okay.
Now, they could do that via having a garbage can, and then they haul it to the landfill. They can pay a third-party contractor, but we don't pick up private business garbage.
Okay, now my question is to, he tells me they're being charged for garbage pickup. Is that true or not true?
Well, I don't know who you're talking about for one, so I can't
Well,
respond.
I'm
to
just
that.
talking for a local business that's required to have a dumpster.
It's a business, has a dumpster.
Yeah.
But yet he's being charged
Is he
for,
being charged for garbage pickup?
he should not be.
Well, he tells me he is, but that's what I was asking.
I would suggest you have him come in and talk to the billing department at the water department and bring a copy of his invoices from whoever is his collector, as well as copies of his bills from the city. And if he's being charged for something he technically shouldn't be charged, is it a rental property, like a
No, it's a regular
duplex
business.
or something?
No,
It's
a
an
regular
actual business?
But I guess I'm asking, does it show garbage pickup on his bill or does not show garbage pickup? Because if it doesn't show in there, then he's not being billed for it. But
Well, it would
that's my
give you a
question.
line item.
Yeah,
So he could look right on his bill and it would say he'd have garbage fees,
He has garbage
just like he
fees.
has water and sewer and stormwater utility. Those things should all be itemized on there.
but otherwise he shouldn't be charged for it if he has a dumpster.
If he has it, now, if you live in a home,
No, I'm
a
not-
single-family
that's
home,
different,
you have to pay city garbage collection. If you choose not to use it, that's your choice.
Okay, that's my question.
You bet. Other comments or questions from the public?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I was at a meeting today, and on a lighter note, I had a gentleman approach me, said he just paid $150 speeding tickets to the city of Fort Dodge, and I said, what happened? That sounds like it's 2 speeding tickets. He said he did. He was late for an appointment. He didn't know where he was really going, but he ended up having to go on an appointment in North 15th Street, but he was around the aquatic center, got nailed there once, and we just way around town. He got nailed 4 minutes later on North 15th Street, and he admitted he was speeding, but I didn't know if that was appropriate to put it in the good news section, so.
Well, did you
Anyway.
thank him for
Yeah, I
his,
thanked him for his contribution to the city.
So my 16-year-old son has contributed to 2 tickets recently. His savings account got a lot lighter.
So did my wife's.
Mr.
Hey,
Mayor,
Sunday, I was just gonna say, Sunday there is a bike race that's gonna be held in downtown Fort Dodge. I believe it's gonna begin around noon and conclude around 5 o'clock. There was an article in the Messenger over the weekend, I believe. So if you don't have anything going on Sunday, come on downtown. I think it's great, the amount of events that have occurred in the last month, specifically in regards to downtown and the amount of traffic that it's brought to downtown to celebrate positive things. So, yeah, all right, Divine's up. Watch out.
Mr. Devine,
Yeah, Mike Devine, I live in the hood,
comment or question?
923 4th Avenue. Yes, I do.
Okay.
I've been asked to relay this question to the council. There is a gated community on North 22nd Street that was under construction, has come to a halt. Does anybody know anything about that? Councilman Halter, stopping things?
I don't know any more than you do, sir.
Does anybody know about it?
A gated community that was stopped?
Correct.
I believe there was a proposal for a zoning as well as a plat and all those things, and the developer stopped.
Did he break ground or
No.
did he just stop?
Not that I'm aware of. He may have moved some dirt.
Okay. Yeah, I don't
They
know.
cleared some trees as well.
Thank you.
Sure. Last chance for comments and questions from the public.
Mr. Mayor, I probably should announce that we're gonna have a workshop on fireworks.
Oh,
That's
yes.
On the 20.
Definitely.
What is
I've
that, the
gotten quite a few calls
23rd?
asking about when that's going to be.
Yeah. So just to give everyone ample notice that the 23rd is we're gonna have a proposal on, how we're gonna regulate fireworks from here on out.
Okay. Definitely one to come to and give input.
Certainly be a bang.
Unintended.
You stole my
Okay.
joke.
I'm gonna take a motion to adjourn.
Second?
We adjourn? I don't think so. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This meeting's adjourned. Thank you.